Good day, everybody. Thank you so much for joining this wonderful Doug meetup hosted by our lovely friend with all of you in Kenya, Francis. My name is Liz Hallen. I am the Vice President here at Dynamics User Group, and I am so thrilled that you are all here today to learn more about Jet Reports in Business Central. Before we hand it over to our speaker, though, I did want to tell you a little bit about Doug, who we are, what we do, in case you have not heard of us before. So we are a free membership to the Dynamics user group. We support the Dynamics 365 products, Dynamics GP, as well as the Power Platform. And through our free individual membership, we do this in many ways with lots of different programs and services that you all have access to, many of which are online and very convenient for you, being the fact that you are not near the United States. We have really gotten our name primarily through our DynamicsCon virtual conference, but we do also host an in-person event currently right now located in the US called DynamicsCon Live. But in addition to that, one of our newer programs is Doug Webinars, very similar to what you're joining today, but these are offered also free to you, and it's all great education that's based on the core Dynamics products. You also have access to our online discussion forums, which is a great place for you to ask questions, provide expertise, and even answer questions from others that are across the globe and in our global community. And then our Doug Meetup program, which is what you are all part of and participating in today. We have 39 groups across 9 countries today. So thank you, Kenya, for being one of the countries that are being represented. And our meetups are all led by local volunteers, and so we thank them very much for that. We do also have a YouTube channel, which currently has close to 700 videos on it today, all free to access for you. And most of the content is prior DynamicsCon virtual sessions that we have hosted. So again, free education and training for you. That's one of our core pillars and missions here at Dynamics User Group. And then, of course, our team up partners. Our team up partners are one of the ways that we help fund the organization. But for our end user customers, it's also a really great way for you to learn about some of the solutions and partners that are in our space. DynamicsUserGroup.com is the place where you can go to learn more about all of this information, as well as sign up for your free membership. Here is our map of meetups, and you can see that is what we're joining here today. So thank you for being here again. In case anybody is on the call that is joining from the US, we do have an upcoming regional event happening in Atlanta, Georgia. This is a free day of full educational content provided by many Microsoft employees, actually. And if you are wanting to travel to the US, if you're not based here, we would love to have you join us for DynamicsCon Live. Our next in-person conference is May 13th to the 16th in Denver, Colorado. And I do have a promo code here for you to get $100 US off of your registration. Our early bird registration does end next week on October 31st. And we will have content across all of the Dynamics 365, Dynamics GP, and Power Platform products. If you're not able to join us in person, however, we are planning our next virtual event, which will be held next November. So not next month, but in 1 year from now. We're anticipating over 5,000 community members. And again, we will host content on all of the products that are listed here. And this is a really special event because we open up our content submission process for everybody in the community. So I would highly encourage all of you to submit a topic or a session idea if you would like to become a speaker. And if not, we do turn all of those submissions over to the community for voting. And those sessions get voted on by the community. The top voted sessions are the ones that you will actually see on our final agenda. Our voting is not opening until early next year, so keep our emails in your forefront so that you know exactly when all of that will be taking place. That is all I have, Francis. Thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it. And I will turn it back over to you to introduce our next speaker.
Okay, thank you, Liz, for that great introduction.
Thank you for letting me be here.
Okay. You're most welcome. The next one, I think you should be in Kenya physically. So, so today's session will be done by Xavier Sissey or Xavier Sissey, and he's an experienced analysis developer and also developer with over 7 years of experience, but he'll do the introduction about himself and what he has been able to do for Business Central. Thank you all for joining with a number of over 20. Please stick to the end, and if you have any question, post it on the chat. So Sissey, please welcome.
Thank you very much, Mwangi. Thank you, sir. And it's a good opportunity. Let me just first of all share my screen. And
is anyone else having problems hearing Sissey?
Are you able to hear me?
You're very quiet for me. Is anyone else?
You're quite low. Maybe you can be more audible. Yeah.
Okay, maybe let me try I think are you able to get me, Liz, now?
Better, yes.
Better.
Okay, thank you very much. So I think also I'm visible. I put in I think I'm quite visible, so I think we can able to interact more. And let me just share my presentation for today. So as Xavier said, I'm Sissey Xavier. I am a head business analyst currently at Agile Business Solutions. I've been in Agile for 6 years plus, and previously employed also in other Microsoft partner. And we have majorly been implementing as well as developing now as well as Business Central solutions. I think there's a text. Oh, sorry. I thought there's a question to me. So yeah, I've been implementing Business Central as well as now for the last 7 years. And it has been a journey with exploration in very different markets, from implementing finance to implementing other solutions, so pension, procurement, such. So I can say the opportunities that I've been able to get with the solution, especially Microsoft, has been a very good opportunity, and being able to at least understand and get to know how much we're able to develop solutions for the African market. And with that, you can able to now once again be able to use other tools apart from Microsoft, additional tools with which you can able to use to be able to make our work better are things which you can able to adapt. And over the last 4 years, one of the main things that has been fundamental in reporting, given the market that we're dealing with, especially in Africa, there comes a tool called the JET reports. And it was something of interest, first of all, when it came across, and opted to indulge further. And with it, you've been able to get a better understanding and a better tool to be able to produce reports that are more customizable, more functional, and more applicable in the current, especially the Kenyan market and even African market. So with that, today I want to just take you through JET reports, because I feel it's a very important tool. You can be able to do a lot, much more than what is provided for in Business Central as well as now. And even the capabilities in terms of scope and use have been, I can say, I feel even I have underutilized it. So I hope you can be able to use this opportunity to at least indulge further, do more research, reach out to the team. The tool is one of the tools provided by Insight. You can just go ahead if you search on Google for Insight, or if you just search for Jet Reports, you'll get a link whereby you can be able to use and get much more information that you can request a demo, you can be able to request for much more details in relation to that Jet Reports. But once again, in the same model that for guys who are familiar with Business Central as well as Nav, for those clients or for those business analysts or functional consultants who are implementing Nav, you can be able to you are aware that you need to have, it follows the same models whereby you need to get a partner and they sell the Jet Reports to a partner. So unlike whereby you can able just to go ahead and get licensing for such, you need to have a partner, but you can able to request for a demo and you can able to get much more details. But all those things are available online. We'll share links with which you can able to at least get much more information. For today, I just want to show you and take you through what you have been able to use, especially as a Jet Reports and the functionalities that the solution provides. And feel free to put in the questions if need be. I'll just give an example of what we have been able to implement in terms of reports, real life data. But once again, the capabilities that have been used here are, so I feel it's so minimal. So it's a challenge as we so much engage, you can able to further utilize the tool and make it better. So that's a brief of me as a person, as well as on what we're going to take you through today. And once again, welcome. So my next slide, this is just a profile of myself. Once again, more than 7 years in implementation of Business Central, as well as also do development using Jet Analytics, as well as Jet Reports. As I said, Jet Reports is just a tool of analytics. So for people who are familiar with something like Power BI, it's an analytic tool. You can use it further and more extensively in relation to producing of reports. So and then also mobile apps. I'm just an enthusiast of mobile apps because those are things I normally do in my free time. So for the team, any other enthusiasts in the group, I think we can able to reach out and at least explore this also market and such. So on my next slide here, it answers the question, what is Jet Reports? So Jet Reports is just as an Excel add-in. I think all of us are familiar with Excel. Many times for all, I talked in this format in the sense of like using Excel has been a reporting tool used by many accountants, especially for financial reporting. And with that, you can find the linking between Excel and our reports is a very important in terms of not reports per se, but our databases for implementation of ERP is a very important tool. So Jet Reports is just a plugin that comes to an Excel, and it allows getting of data in different formats. So with NAV as well as GP, for those who are familiar, GP transitioned into F&O, whereby you can able now to get data from there, and even directly to the object-oriented databases. You can able to get it directly from the DB if need be. And the tool is a very fast, flexible, and financial business reporting tool inside Excel, as well as I said earlier. And it has the very good functionality such as generation of the reports. You can be able to even schedule. You can be able to automatically send those reports from now to email accounts and such. So unlike the capabilities that Power BI has, whereby you can just produce reports and you need to log in into the Power BI and such and get terms of details and such, this one can be able to produce for you a complete report. For guys who have implemented, once again, I go back to, especially in the Kenyan market and even the market that we normally use here, you often find that you normally produce these reports in terms of your reports that you normally present to, and you present them in Word for presentation and such. So getting that data is already in the ERP. For you to get that data and produce those reports, you need this now the tool which it allows accountants as well as managers to be able to quickly get those reports. So that's in a nutshell what Jet Reports is. What are the advantages of Jet Reports? One, it's very simple. Very simple in terms of it only has 2 role centers, unlike whereby you have multiple roles and such. You just have a designer and a viewer. So the designer designs a report and the viewer is able to view. So a person can design a report just like the way you normally do development. You can able to develop a report and then you provide it for your team. And the team can be unlimited. It's not limited to individuals. You can able to create a report and you can able now to send it to any individual as long as they have an email account. So that's another functionality. And it comes back now to the second point where the distribution is automated with the Jet scheduler, ensuring that you get correct information to the people who need it. So you can able define these reports are for a specific individual, these are for the managers, these are for a specific set of individuals, and allows you to be able to do that by a click of a button. So it can be able to do the scheduling and sending that automatically. All that is real-time data, which is very important, especially for reports, for the reporting, especially for the managers and such. In continuation, you can be able to easily configure and change parameters. So for example, assuming that development of your database for guys who are using ERP, such as Business Central especially, you can be able to easily make those changes. And once you make those changes, you can be able to get them immediately in your report. And just by dragging, inserting these changes, you can easily create your report and update that report accordingly. So once again, the solution also has fast financial tools. So for example, they are aware of the markets which they normally reach out, apart from Africa, all over across the European market. They do already have those templates. So when you go ahead and click on creating of a financial report, the system already has templates for you to be able to produce those reports. And with ease, you can be able to get the data and produce those reports. So it's a very simple tool. And once again, I very much highly recommend. I really hope after this, you can be able to at least explore and use that as a tool. Another item is creating of ambiguous reports. Ambiguous reports is in the sense of, for example, maybe I am in the, especially for markets such as the pension industry. So if you want a report in relation to maybe the member movement or anything in relation to maybe contributions of members, you can be able to do those reports also with using the Jet Analytics, as long as the connection is done to your system. So the flexibility is dependent on your creativity. So, and one of the major things is everything is done on Excel, which I believe most of us are familiar with as a tool as a reporting tool. And so I'll go to what exactly is important when creating reports. How do you normally create reports? So at the far on my left hand side, on my right hand side, you do have just an example of an Excel, whereby there's a tab which normally is inserted to that report. So each and every time you install the Jet Reports as an extension, it comes with a tab. I think much later I will switch up and show you the Excel that which you'll be able to screenshot here. And the Excel now comes with some tools with which you can able to do the changes in terms of setting up and designing a report. So there's an aspect of you to be able to design. You can be able once again to run the reports. So in this slide, as you can able to see here, you have a Jet tab that is there, and it allows you to design, to be able to run. You can able to make up tools, and it has only 4 parameters with which you can able to use to make any kind of report. And once again, you go ahead and see that much later. So it allows you to be able to manually do it for yourself in an Excel. I believe for guys who have extensively used Excel, it's something like macros. I can able to say that, at least for familiarity's sake. you can able to use it and create those reports from that platform. Then on the tools, once again, as I said, it has a fast financial tool, and the fast financial tool allows you to be able to design reports faster. So there are templates which you can able to create already preset. So if you want to produce something like your trial balance with the way you have, whereby you have already set up your chart of accounts and you have already preset headings and such, you can able to easily consolidate, combine them, and put it as a line with ease. So the system generates a generic report, and after that, you can be able to review, make edits, and generate the report that you want. Under report options, it allows you to customize the options which you want the report to have. For example, many times when you're running Business Central, when you preview a report, the system normally provides you with something like the date filter, the dimensions filter. So those are options which you're able to add for yourself if you want to, when you're running a report on that report level, what filters can a person have? So if you do have any other ambiguous or any other optional filter, you can able to add it on your report. So when you're running a report, for example, if I'm running my my trial balance and I want to run it from Excel, I click on run and allow you to able to input the dimensions filter. The system would be able to produce those reports with ease and very fast. Then you do have a report wizard. So this is a wizard which allows you to customize. And I'll emulate this, copy this in relation to account schedules in Business Central. Business Central normally has account schedules for guys who are familiar and allows you to be able to create any report, but based on the GL, the general ledger, if you're getting your data from the general ledger. So this is also a wizard that allows you to be able to predefine step by step, like it just takes you through, tells you from this point, you can able to link it up to this and this and create your report. Then you do also have a table builder. So if you do want if you want, the table builder creates an Excel table from one or more tables. So you can able to join those tables. So if you have done customization on your reports, and you want to be able to maybe link it up to other tables, for guys who are developers, you can able to provide that table to the consultant, the functional consultant, and they can, using the JET report, they can able to combine maybe some filters and combine them in that report. So the ease for you, once again, the creativity will be dependent on how much you can able to use with the tool. On my next slide, we do also have a browser. So the browser allows you just for you to be able to preview your reports. So for example, not your data, I mean, so if I've put in my general ledger accounts and I want to be able to just go ahead and see, oh, maybe the first 1,000 lines, what data is there? The browser allows you to be able to do so. So a lot of the things have already been taken care of. And you can able now to easily drag and drop and say, maybe I don't want this field, let me remove it. I want this field, add it. So with that ease, you can be able to do that all at the comfort of Excel. Once again, Excel is a very good tool for reporting, and this is just an additional functionality that is added to the Excel, connecting you to your ERP solution. Then these snippets are small reusable report paths which can be shared by professional JET users. Users can create snippets for commonly used parts reports with the ability to drag snippets to any report. So if the things which you normally use much more familiar, you can able now to easily just drag and drop, and they can able to be shared by professional users. Once again, depending on the license that you provide for, you can able to take a professional license with which you can able to allows you to be able to do such. Another functionality is the pivot table. The pivot table is one thing comes customized in Excel, and you can able to produce all those reports. But this gives you a notch higher and allows you to produce that in the JET reports, as well as charts. Then on my next slide, we do have the functionality of uploading. So the logic behind it, all this, the JET report is you can have, as specified, you have a designer as well as a viewer. So the designer can design a report, and the viewer can be able to preview that report. The viewer can be able to preview the report in two platforms. either online through an URL, which I'll show that in the slide much later, or they can be able to have the plugin on their own Excel and preview it on their own machine. So for example, if I want a person to be able to see this report on a Jet report URL link, they will be able to go to that link and see that once I click as a designer, I upload that for them to view. And if I share that report also for individuals who do not have the viewership license, you can be able to produce the report and schedule sending an already preloaded report. So if a person has you have already previewed a report and maybe I've prepared the management report for the first quarter, and I want to share it with maybe my immediate COO and my CFO, so they can able to review, and their viewers, I can able to share that immediately. Once they've confirmed, I can now share it to maybe the rest of the board members if need be, and I'll just do that as a scheduler. So the system will allow me to send emails apart from the guys who have the license of viewing that report. So that's one of the functionalities whereby you can able to use the upload feature as well as the schedule feature to produce those reports. Another functionality that is there is configuration in Word. I'll show you once again this. I'll show you much later on how an example of one which I've already prepared. So, but I'll just explain it in the form of if you're producing your management reports, especially your accounting reports and such. Many of these reports are normally produced in Word. And if you're producing them in Word, you need to get some tables and some data, and they're normally predefined templates. Many times you normally produce maybe 100 pages or 150 pages document, and all this data has to be produced from your solution, because you normally provide all these GLs, all of them are done in your Business Central solution. If you're using BC, or you do have any other database or any other, maybe using Oracle and such, all that is done on that platform. So if you need to produce these reports, the system allows you to have templates already imported in Word form and getting the sources of data from the Excel templates. So the system allows you to configure a template with which you can be able now to generate your Word report. As said there, the system generates a Word document using a Word template above defined above by the transferring the report data into the Word. So that's another functionality which is very important, very used, especially for reporting. Once again, it's a very powerful tool for you to be able to use these reports and create these reports. On my next slide, in terms of the setups, one of the major challenges people get is maybe I need to install something, I will need to do this and this, I will need to go ahead and maybe configure this and that. The solution is very simple. Once again, on the same Excel, the system allows you to be able to link it up. You have a small setting space where we can be able to define multiple data sources. So for example, if I have maybe dealing with a multinational company, and I want to have customized report based on companies, the system allows you, just once you connect your Jet report setup to the database, it will pick up all the companies that are there, define them in the format whereby you do have the database and you have the companies, and you can able now to get the data from each and every other company based on the filters you provide them there. So you can able to define different data sources. So not necessarily everything should be based on Microsoft. You can have maybe a link, or if you do have multiple solutions, maybe one picks up from if you do have Oracle, or you have a Business Central solution, or you do also have different, we have had clients who have maybe two systems. Maybe one is a 2017 solution. Just a moment. Highlighted me something which is very important, at least so that I can able to show. So I think I'll unshare and then to share my whole screen so that I can able to fully show what exactly I mean by all this, because of, once again, time and the opportunity for all of you to be able to at least ask questions as such. So for example, I was talking about my JET report, which I do have here. So if I'm supposed to make up settings, the system allows me to be able to define my settings easily. I have my license that is defined here. I have my exam template. I have my SMTP, which is something which is very default. Where am I setting my locations? If I want to see how in terms of the importance, I can able to define the tools which I can able to use in terms of which modes that I want to be able to be previewed on the platform. So all these can be able to be defined easily by a click of a button by any user, as long as you're a designer and such, and an update platform for you to be able to get updates in the same platform. So as I said, you do have ability to be able to define both the database source as well as the company, so that when I'm producing my reports, for example, I was creating one here just for a client, you're able to find, you can able to create all these. This is a sample data with which you're able to use. You can able to create, once again, the financial performance. This is the income statement as well as the balance sheet and the cash flows. All these are based on data that is already existent in the database. So with the functionality of drilling down, as you can able to see here, I do have an arrow which allows me to preview all my data, which makes up that data that I've provided there with ease. So this is another functionality with which you can able to use on the platform. As highlighted earlier, you do have a platform to be able to make schedules. So if I do want to make a schedule on the platform, I can able to schedule. I think here's one of an important tool that we're able to use. If I can able to create a schedule task, I can able to say what, for example, maybe I want this report to be running each and every month. I can be able to say the name of that report, which report am I going to do to run it, and how is it supposed to be produced. If I want to produce in PDF, a workbook, CSV, a text, and if I want to schedule, at what time do I want it to run? And you can able to put in also the periods. If I want it to run multiple times in the period, I can do it daily, weekly, and I don't know, on startup and such, and the options which I can able to use also. The system allows you to give you what features that I can able to put in when I'm running my report, as well as the email. I believe I already told you that you can able to send an email with all these reports. As long as you've been able to set up the SMTP, you can able to produce these reports from the solution. Of importance, once again, is the design. I'd specify that I was a designer. So if I click a design, the system allows me to define all these functionality. Let me just zoom out so that it's visible. So if you do understand once you get an understanding of these functionalities, once again, there are just 4 functionalities: the NL, LF, NF, NP, and GL. Once you understand this, you can be able to produce any report that you want from the solution. So, for example, I've already defined my periods that are here and how functionality-wise I want to get my filters and such, and my GLs which I'm able to produce. I can be able to provide a formula. All these formulas the formula that is here, for people who are familiar with Excel, you can be able to produce this report with ease on the platform. Additionally, you can be able to go ahead and add a lot of functionalities and the system normally has already predefined commands with which you can able to apply. So if you want to hide a certain row, I can able to put in a hide feature, and the system will be able to use that just as a calculation field. I talked about the options which you're able to put. As I said, if you do want to put in maybe a deal filter or a dimension or a budget or any GLs which I want to filter when I'm producing my reports, I can be able to do so with ease when I'm doing my design. And once I've done my design, once I'm comfortable, I can be able to run that report. So the system gives me a report functionality the way normally provides it, especially for guys who are familiar with Business Central. You can be able to put in the date filter, a dimension, and even if you do have budgets, and you can able by a click of a button, I just click on run. And what the system will do, it will do the calculation based on the formulas which are put and give me a very clean report. So the design, once again, will be dependent on the creativity with which you do have in terms of producing your reports. So all these functionalities are able to be done when I'm running all these reports. I really hope I'm trying to catch up so that I'm in time. Sorry. So what about the cost? Once again, I talked about being able to get the cost in terms of cost of this tool. It's a very cheap tool with which you can able to use. It's a licensing tool, but you don't need a lot of licenses for you to be able to use this. You can be able to get one license as a designer and maybe three as a viewer. And once you do so, the system now allows you to be able to send multiple reports, and you can be able to define all these reports easily using one designer can be able to design and then send it to each and every individual who needs it. Additional functionalities that the solution has. The system, once again, as said, it normally comes with an URL with which you can able to preview these reports anywhere. So if a person is a very important person, maybe let's say the CEO, and they want to be able to easily and quickly preview these reports, or maybe the accountant especially, you can able to give them access to the URL. And using the URL, they can be able to easily preview these reports. And they can able to get the functionality of maybe changing the data source. They can able to delete if need be. They can able to see the versions of all these reports. So each and every report is also stored using the platform. So it's a very good tool with which you can able to use. I talked about scheduling. The solution allows you to schedule. And with scheduling, you can able to create even the type of email that you want to be able to be previewed in this report. So if I want to have a certain body, I want a certain text to be sent, you can be able text to be sent with my email, you can be able to do so on the platform. So some of the sample reports which I've been able to create with this is the balance sheet, cash flow, but this is a meager of what you're able to use in terms of the reports. A lot of the reports that you're able to get are customized reports, because reports with which whereby are not financial in nature, but are dependent on what already is in the database. Many times you want to be able to easily and quickly produce these reports, and especially for accountants with which would want to be able to customize it at the look and feel. This is a very important tool which you can able to use to produce these reports. I talked about being able to produce like a template, and it's important at least to show you what you can able to use. For example, if I want to configure a Word document, so at least I give you an understanding of the Word document which you want to produce, I can be able to put in charts. I can be able to define my template. So the system comes already with a template with the Word functionality, whereby I can be able to put in my all data. So for example, I want a header and maybe other data details to be captured in my Word document, and then a table to be produced when I'm running that report. The system will allow me to put that table, and when I run, it will give me a platform to be able to produce that report. So if I come over and click on, let me just run this report. And maybe generate my Word document, the system will allow me to be able to generate that Word document with ease. So as it's generating that, it's a very big, I think even as it's done, the system now will give me the ability to be able to run that report, and it will give me all my details in my report. So if I want to have my data, maybe I have some words that I want to be able to put in that platform, I can be able to customize that and put that in my report with ease. So it's a one-take report functionality with which you can be able to use and produce all these reports. I think with that, I would like to wrap up so that I can be able to give an opportunity to anybody with a question in relation to this, the rest of the team. Thank you very much for the opportunity. So if anybody who has a question before I wrap it up.
Hello, Sissey. I have a question.
Yes, Lucas.
Yes, how do you connect Jet reports to get the data specifically?
Okay, that's a good question. I think once again, I'll share my screen just to show you that. So, for example, what I already prepared here, we do have a platform to be able to define my data source. So on my data source, I can be able to define my connection that I want to be able to get my data from. Each and every time, if I do have a server, For example, I have opted to not use web services as my connection tool, but rather directly point it to the server, to the database, because the system will allow me to, it's faster and will allow me to get my reports quickly. As you can able to get, you see, I was producing a projection report on the assets based on the database and the rolling in the system, and it was already producing that report very fast. So the system allows me to define my reports as well as the companies which I want, just by putting these two functionalities that are there. So if I do have any database already in the system, I can just have the server and the database, and the system will produce for me my company. So just by a click of a button, that can able to be done. I hope I've answered you, Lucas.
Yes. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other question?
Thank you so much, Sissey, for connecting with us and giving us a chance, teaching us about chat reports. And I wanted to ask a question. What's the difference? What's the ease of me using the jet reports and not using the default reporting tool in using for Microsoft RDLC or RDL or
Okay.
Word?
Okay. Word. Thank you for the question. One of the big good functionalities of jet reports is being able to give the users the power to create a report. So unlike whereby you are predefined with which tables you're supposed to get your report, or even the licensing as a user, looking at it from the perspective of a user. If I've bought my my Business Central, for example, and I'm a user and I need to create a report. Currently, you have to reach out to the partner, and it's a new report. Maybe I want a report between maybe a fixed asset report whereby I can be able to do projections. And all my fixed assets data is in my ERP system. I do have my book balance. I do have my my transactions, all of them are there in the system. But for me to be able to get a report, I will require my partner, that is the guy who provided me with the solution, to be able to develop for myself, unless I use other tools such as what do you call this, custom reports, whereby the limitation in terms of fields and such is limited by the partner with what they provided for in terms of the reports which they gave. What Jet Reports allows you to is, as a user, to define the report that I want. So, and where the data is coming from. So if I do have a report and I want to get all my data from maybe the fixed asset, and I want to combine it to another customized report that I was provided for, the system allows you to do the combination and produce that report. So as a user, I won't be limited to what I'm provided for as a partner, whereby I do have to always engage a partner. I need this report, I need this report. As long as I have my database, I do also have, or even if I have my web services as a tool, I can be able to get all my data and define my report. Additionally, I can be able to easily customize it in terms of the look and feel in Excel as well as even in Word. And even you can able to create even pie charts from this. As long as the data is seated on Excel, you can able to create pie charts, which is a tool which is already there in Excel. So it's an additional functionality. It's skewed to help the client who already has a solution. So that's the major uptake I can able to say, the difference, especially between RDL as a developer, whereby it's so much skewed towards the development bit, whereby this is more skewed to the functional consultant bit, or if a person is client, they can be able to easily create that report. I hope I've answered you, Sharon.
Yes, thank you.
Any other question?
Evening, Sissey. I wanted to ask, does Jet Reports allow for data cleaning? Maybe like Power BI, how we have ETL.
Yes. So the solution when you're making your table snippets and such, you can be able to remove certain filters which you can able to put that. When you're making your table builder, the system allows you to put in filters. Additionally, on the tools also allows you to define what you want in terms of which data do you want to be previewed on your report. So it's not only limited to in terms of the other table builder with which you can able to put that, as well as the functionality in terms of the functions which you normally create. You can able to filter out the data which you feel unnecessarily, it's not necessarily for your producing of your report. So that's also a functionality that is already there.
Okay, thank you. I think that's clear.
Hi, Sissey.
Hi.
I have a question. Like one of the shortcomings that I've encountered in reports in Business Central is that some of the joins based on the data item links may not pull the data that you want. Is Jet Reports coming up with a solution?
When you're doing your joins, that is that's in BC. In terms of development of reports or joins in SQL, or and it get it clear?
At the data item level when you're doing
Yes.
AL reports.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. Oh, L reports. Okay. So so if you want to be able to let me just share my screen. So at least it's good to see with examples. Just a moment.
Stephen has his hand raised.
Yes. Oh, Stephen has it right. Okay. Maybe I can able to
Stephen, you can unmute.
okay.
Yes, good evening, and thank you for the presentation, Xavier. Maybe a quick one, huh?
Yes.
Are you able to produce the notes to the financial statements and being able to drill down to maybe a particular note number using the JET?
Yes.
Or maybe I didn't find that in time.
Oh yeah, okay. That's possible. I think I just want to show, let me just share my screen here. So we do have functions. Let me answer Fred first before I answer you, Steve. So we do have the functionalities that are here that allows you to join these tables and such. So with this functionality, the system allows you to be able to put in the joining functionalities. If you're familiar with, especially with the tools that are here, the creativity will be dependent on what you want. So if I want a table and I want to be able to link up two tables and such, all that can be able to be done here with ease. To answer in relation to joining, I understand the challenges can be able to be a problem, especially when you're dealing with AL, and that's. But I believe, I don't know if I'm not so certain, especially if how much development or which exact challenges I've been able to use when you're using your join. But from the Jet analytics perspective, it should just be a functionality bit whereby you're joining your tables. So all these things will be able to be done when you're using your tables in terms of how you're going to structure. So if I opt to use NL to join which table to another table, I can be able to do that with ease. I can be able to specify the table that I want, and on the formulas, I can be able to say which field and such that I'm able to connect. So I've not had a challenge in terms of joining these tables if I need be. Unless maybe you can able to reach out and maybe see for yourself in terms of the reports that you do want. But all that, I'm not going to get a challenge in terms of when I'm trying to join tables and such. Unlike whereby Power BI, we've been able to get that challenge sometimes when you're doing that that's generation of reports. To answer Steve's question, on the notes that I do have here, I created this report that is here. I do have my notes that I already provided for, and these notes are linked to my my statement of financial position. So each and every report that is here, as well as the movement of the assets and such, all this is linked up to the top that is now my statement that is supposed to produce here. So that is able to be done with ease. And at least I have a sample of what I've been able to produce that is there. All these figures you happen to find it's a summation of something with which I pulled it up on the top that is here. So that's able to be done with ease. That's fine.
Sister, we have a question in the chat, so you can check your chat.
Oh yes.
Victor has also raised his hand. Maybe Victor can start and then we can go to the chat.
Oh, Victor's raised and talk. Victor.
Thank you. Thank you for shedding the light about JET's report. So I have one question actually about integration. So can I be able to expose the reports in a way that it can be accessed from the portal somewhere? And also another question, do they have maybe a trial license?
Sorry to interrupt. I haven't gotten the first question. If you want to integrate and produce the report?
If I want to integrate the report, maybe to a portal somewhere so that it can be accessed. Maybe
portal.
Student portal. I want to provide the information.
Okay.
Yeah. And the second one, do they have a trial license so that you can be able to check on the contents and use it to pitch the idea?
Oh, okay. So on the first question on the portal, currently I've not been able to, once again, I'll be able to try that. I think it's a challenge. I think I'll take note and be able to try and get a solution to that. But as I've seen, the structure is so based on Excel. So if I'm supposed to produce a report, mainly I will be able to send it to a complete report, as you're able to see. I send that complete report to an email address or to how can I put it, like a document, or maybe if I want to save it at a certain place. That's the functionality which we have been able to use in terms of generation of reports. So I generate a report periodically, and the system will allow me to save it or maybe email it. So currently those are the two functionality, but once again, all these things can be able to be explored and you can be able to use them as a tool. As long as you're able to have it in Excel, I know there are platforms which you have been able to integrate Excel also with the portal. So I believe it's something which, if you think about it in detail, we can be able to do, or we can be able to at least figure out in terms of, because I understand the functionality with ease, the way to produce something in your portal. So I think it's an idea which you can be able to try out, and maybe next time when I'm doing a session, I can be able to give an update and maybe at least do that. On your second item in terms of the trial license, this currently being able to access this the platform once again is the opportunity which I got is you have to use a partner. So you have to go through a partner to be able to do that unless you request for a demo. So if you just even try to log into Google, Insight normally requests for a demo first, then they can be able to provide you with the tools and at least maybe an example in terms of they link you up with a person who can be able to onboard you and such. But that's the current structure which we're able to use. So to answer you the second question. Then
okay, thank you.
Okay, welcome. And to answer the two questions that I think I provided, are JET reports only limited to financial? No. Currently, as you're able to see here, I've been able to get a report in terms of my my assets, in terms of there's a breakdown in terms of the property and property and capital. I've been able to combine them, and that is producing from the fixed asset tables. So it's any table that you do have on your database is able to be accessed on Excel. All of those tables, as well as both the Company tables as well as the global tables are able to be accessed, and you can able to use them at will. So you can able to produce any report as long as the tables are there and available, apart from the integer tables like the date and such. And these the integer tables, the date, that's not able to be done for that. But these are the tables which are visible, especially on as long as in object oriented, you can able to produce, get that table, get your report, and customize your report at will. So that as long as that data is there. Then the question, jet reports intelligent? I mean, you can use it to use historical data for prediction purposes. The data is there. So the only thing you can able to predict maybe is if you put in formulas with which you can able to use to create your other reports. For example, I'll use in the pension industry, we have been able to use annuities in Excel. So if you're able to get your data in Excel, you can able to do prediction of the annuities using already the probability formulas that you do have there. So I will not say it's intelligent, but it will give you the data to be able to produce your reports. I hope I've answered you, Chacha. So I know because of time.
Yeah,
I don't know if... Yes, Chacha.
Okay, that's clear. I just wanted, I think you've elaborated it more clear as I really needed it.
Okay.
I just wanted to get the intelligence bit on it. So that's fine.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dennis
so
Murimi's question, was it answered?
Dennis Murimi.
Using a company picture.
Oh, yes, company picture. Yes, you can able to use that. Having a company on the jet report is like the case on the report builder. Yes, if you want, as long as the Excel has the functionality to, you can able to import a picture on the Excel. So you can able to put that. Also, you can able to pull in from the company information page and insert it also in your Excel report. That's able to be done. Additionally, if you're able to see the report, the word report that you're producing, you can able to put a functionality that picks the company picture and puts it in your word report. So that's also possible. It will convert it, whatever blob image and such, it will do so. That's able to be done. Can you have visibility property on jet report? Visibility property. I'm not so sure about that statement. Maybe you can able to expand on it. Dennis?
Okay, thank you, Sissey. What I mean is, for example, in report builder, you can set a visibility that if it's for example, if it's a certain customer, it's not visible on the report, and where else it's a certain customer, maybe customer type, it's when you can have the visibility.
Oh yeah, so you can able to use once again report options to be able to do the limitation of visibility. So because if you're using web services will pull in the data from the system. So it will just pick up that data and provide it for you. How defining the visibility will be depending on the report options that you're going to use there. So if you're putting on your options that you don't want to certain item or which parameters which you're able to define, that's able to be done also in terms of visibility that you want to be applied on that. So if I'm running a report and if I select a certain option, you can able to define that maybe this visibility should not be able to be seen at this stage. So on your columns, I don't know if you're able to see a column called hide. So you can able to hide that depending on the visibility. You can able to define that. So yes, that's able to be done. I think Liz is stepping out, so I thank you once again for attending. Yes.
Yeah, sure. Before you step out, Liz, have you stepped out already? I don't know. Okay, I think she's out. Anyway,
so let me just wrap up. I guess I've answered all the questions. So once again, thank you very much. I think I'll share my LinkedIn also on the platform, and yeah, if anybody can able to reach out for any questions, can able to explore, you can able to reach out and listen and explore much more on this. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
Ray has a question. I think you can unmute. Ray Tibachi.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Xavier. So I have a question. Is Jet Reports more like Power BI, or it's more like what you call it, RDOC? The reason why I'm asking, I need to know if I can pass data in real time. So for example, in Business Central, when I'm doing my developments, I'm able to calculate some fields at runtime, which I'm going to be passing to RDOC. So can I do the same in Jet Reports, or I need to pass already some fields that are already storing some data? I hope that makes sense.
I think I've gotten you, so but you're able to interject if I'm wrong. So first of all, the question if it's like Power BI. The goodness of Power BI, I can say, is the visualization bit. The visualizations that are there are so much more compared to what is there in Jet Reports. Jet Reports, the visualizations are very limited to the structure of Excel and the graphs that are normally there in Excel. So I can able to pull in data and produce my graphs and such, depending on the functionalities that are there in Excel. So it's very limited in terms of what you can able to use. That's why Microsoft even has an Excel, but also has Power BI. So that can able to expand the capabilities in terms of visualizations, especially. So the reports that is there for in terms of Jet Reports allows you to be able to get, especially pulling data. Pulling data is the major challenges when you want to produce your reports using Excel. So Jet allows you to be able to pull in data and also play around with it. That's combining and making those adjustments and such if need be. So if to answer now the second point, which whereby you want to specify fields and such and filters, you can able to do that using the table builder. So the system allows you to, if you have a web service, if you're using web services, or currently I've linked this directly to the DB, this thing will pull in all those fields for me, and I can able to define which fields am I going to use to produce my report. So what Jet allows you is just to get all every data that you desire, how Power BI normally gets, and ideally. But then if you're not using a warehouse, because Jet also has something called Jet warehouses, whereby you can able to store your data and then play around with it. So that's a whole different session apart from the reports, because Jet also has a warehousing which allows you to play around. The functionalities whereby I would ask, especially on Power BI, to be able to manipulate data. You can able to further manipulate data as you normally do in Power BI using Jet warehouses. So you can be able to do that much more. But in terms of functionality, like how you normally do RDL and producing RDL reports, I can say the capabilities to maybe define code, the way you normally define code and then create that report, those are not there, but you can be able to play around with the data. Take it, for example, like I'm a function, like a client, and you're not a developer, or how we normally use Power Platforms. For guys who have used Power Platforms, you can be able to easily play around with those fields and such and make your desired report the way you want it. So that's the functionality wise that you can be able to use to produce your reports. I really hope I've answered you.
Well understood. Thank you so much.
Okay, Victor, you still have a question?
No.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Sissey. Please share your LinkedIn, and we are sort of 2-3 minutes past time, so that we can be able to view that. So if you have any other question, maybe you can post it in the WhatsApp group, and maybe Sissey will be able to handle it from there. Thank you guys for joining this meetup. It will be recorded. The next and last will be in November. And you can send maybe your suggestions in WhatsApp or here in the chat for a meetup that you'd like organized. So I think I'll stop the recording, and those who'd like to have a small chat now, you can